The content creates itself here at the F1 chat.
Hello there in internet land. This is episode 5 of the 2023 season of the F1 chat. I'm your host Phil Lamington. Sitting on my left is a man who's very happy because his two boys scored points today. That's JB. How are you, JB, my friend?
Yeah, good, mate. A bit of a spring in the step now. That was better. That was better. It was good to see the McLaren actually having a bit of pace in the points, so it was good.
And seated on my right is a man who is probably very disappointed by how Formula One listed the teams and the constructors this afternoon. That's Longhorn.
Oh, I'm yet to see how they've listed it. I'm sure you've got it for me.
I'll give you one guess.
Just to ruin my day even more, hey?
Well, because when we started putting together the photos for this episode, the FIA hadn't listed the official results, so I had to sit here and type it out myself and do all the mathematics myself, and I still got it done before they did. And I was rather kind, whereas the FIA was less than kind. Right, so we just finished watching the Melbourne F1, and it's great because it was in our time zone, so we didn't have to wait until later on to post it.
Yeah, it's nice to have it done during the day.
Well, it's still fresh before the FIA can get the fucking results out.
Yeah, that's it.
Right, so I believe there was an F2 race, wasn't there?
There was an F2 race, the first ever for Melbourne.
Cool. And it's an F2 report, or is it just the F2 results? There was a big debate over this.
Yeah. What was it this week?
This one's going to be in between.
It was very much a mass debate.
I think this year it's going to be more of a results thing, but I did actually get to watch some of it this weekend, so
Okay.
I do have a bit of reporting on the races to say, a genuine overview, if you will. So we'll start with, it was a good weekend of racing, not just in the F1 but in the F2. We had heaps and heaps of battles. It was really good in the F2 this week. Lots of battles on track between like 4 or 5 cars trying to vie for position. So there wasn't a huge amount of incidents, enough to get you through, but there was just a lot of good racing. So we also had a fair share of safety cars, as you do in F2, across the weekend. A lot of this come down to cars struggling with tyre temperature. So had a couple of interesting ones where cars would go in and change tyres and come out and on a safety car and then come out still on the safety car and go into a barrier. so yeah, it was a safety car simulator at one point in the race. We'll start off with a couple of drivers and how their weekend went. First, I'll start off with the driver everyone probably wants to hear about, young Aussie Jack Doohan. Unfortunately, not the greatest of weekends for him either. Starting with the sprint race, unfortunately he got tapped out. Wasn't his fault, but he got tapped out on the rear and spun out, and that was the end of his race in the sprint. Feature race ended up a little bit better than that. Unfortunately, still had an incident which hindered his race. He got a 5-second penalty as he tapped someone else out of the race. But he managed to pull back and get an 8th, get a couple of points for the week, so not too bad.
That's all right.
Another driver for having a great weekend was actually Charles Leclerc's little brother, Arthur Leclerc. He actually picked up his first podium in the feature race, coming in 3rd.
Good on him.
And he also picked up a 4th place in the sprint race, so pretty solid weekend for him. Another driver who had another really, really solid weekend and also picking up his first podium in the sprint race was Kush Miney. He picked up 3rd in the sprint and picked up 9th in the feature race. So points in both races and obviously, as I said, first podium for him.
Hell yeah.
Judging by his name, he probably picked up a lot of fares driving the taxi around Melbourne that weekend too.
He didn't have to worry about paying the toll road this time. So another great weekend for another driver was Jack Crawford picking up his first podium as well. So a young American driver, he picked up a 2nd in the sprint race. So nice weekend for a couple of drivers. There's a lot of different results this year so far. We haven't really had, A lot of dominating performances week in, week out. It's up for grabs at the moment. But the driver of the weekend has to be Ayumu Iwasa, who started off by taking pole in qualifying and then backed it up with a win in the feature race. And that actually puts him ahead of the championship at the moment. So
Good on him.
still an open championship at the moment, but after that was a nice weekend by Iwasa, and out in front at the moment. And now I'll just quickly read you guys all the results. So in the sprint race, in first, we had Dennis Hauger getting a win, which is his first win of the season, third win overall in Formula 2. In second, we had Jack Crawford getting his first podium. In third, we had Kushmani also getting his first podium. In fourth, Arthur Leclerc. Fifth, Zane Maloney. Sixth, Isaac Hadjar. Seventh, Oliver Behrman. Eighth, Richard Vesti. Ninth, Roy Nassani. And 10th, Richard Verschoor. And then to give you the top 10 in the feature, we had first taking out all the chocolates is Ayumu Iwasa. In second, Teo Pocher, picking up some nice points in his title challenge this year. In third, picking up his first podium, Arthur Leclerc. In fourth, Richard Vesti. In fifth, Zane Maloney in a solid weekend, obviously getting fifth in both races. In sixth, Jehan Daruvla. Seventh, Richard Verschoor. Eighth, Jack Doohan. Ninth, Kushmani. And to round out the top 10, Roman Stanek getting 10th. And that is the F2 result/report.
I've got a question. Did anyone watch the supercars, the Australian supercars?
I missed all of them.
Oh, I was just going to see if the Red Bull Camaros got disqualified again.
No, they got disqualified in Newcastle, but they didn't get disqualified, I don't think.
Oh, give it a couple of days, they will.
Someone got disqualified from something over the weekend. I think it was Formula 3. Yeah, someone in Formula 3 got disqualified, two of the cars, because they were technical breach or some shit.
Oh, okay.
But it wasn't the supercars, no.
Oh, okay. That makes a change for the supercars because Shane Van Gisbergen has been disqualified from both races so far. You know.
Yeah, right. What for?
Technical infringement on the car. Like both the Red Bull cars Red Bull Camaros got disqualified. I think because they put the cooling in...
Yeah, the cooling was in the driver door, and it's not supposed to be in the driving door. It's supposed to be somewhere else, in the middle of the car somewhere. I don't know, it was dumb. It was dumb.
Yeah. Right, so we move from the F2 report to the F1 report, and we hand that over to JB.
All right, chuck and roll.
I just tell everyone now to get yourself comfy, lay down on your favourite chair or your pillow.
Sink in.
Because this could be a long one. Probably as long as the race itself.
Well, yes and no.
Because, my God, did a lot happen in this race.
A lot happened in a very long amount of time. All right. So, the 2023 Rolex Australian Grand Prix. Lap 1. Max Verstappen starts on pole position from Mercedes' George Russell. George Russell jumps Max Verstappen into first. Off the start, Lewis Hamilton gets past Max Verstappen into turn 3. Ferrari's Charles Leclerc is hit by Lance Stroll in a racing incident. Leclerc spinning into the gravel, getting bogged and triggering a safety car. That was the end of his day. Lap 2, Esteban Ocon pits for hard tyres to try to go to the end. Sergio Perez puts mediums on. Lap 7, Alex Albon has a big shunt, spinning across the gravel trap and slamming into the tyre barriers. Russell and Sainz pit for hard tyres just as the red flag is flowing. Lap 10, the race restarts. Lewis Hamilton leads Max Verstappen away. Esteban Ocon hits Nick De Vries, launching his car into the air but avoiding damage. Lap 12, Max Verstappen sweeps around the outside of Lewis Hamilton, coming into the back chicane to take the lead of the race. Lap 13, George Russell gets past Pierre Gasly into 4th. Lap 15, Carlos Sainz dive bombs Lance Stroll into 6th. Lap 18, George Russell's Mercedes catches fire as his power unit fails down the front straight, triggering the virtual safety car. Lap 22, Sergio Perez bravely dives under Esteban Ocon into 9th. Lap 23, Sergio Perez gets past Oscar Piastri and Yuki Tsunoda to get himself up into 9th. Lap 24, Carlos Sainz falls off a ballsy move around the outside of, around the inside actually, of turn 3 to get past Pierre Gasly into 4th. Lap 27, Esteban Ocon sweeps around the outside of turn 9 on Oscar Piastri. Lap 30, Oscar Piastri sweeps around the outside of Yuki Tsunoda for 11th. Lap 43, Sergio Perez dives under Lando Norris for 8th. Lap 45, Sergio Perez gets past Nico Hülkenberg for 7th. Lap 52, Lando Norris overtakes Nico Hülkenberg for 8th. Lap 54, Nico Hülkenberg's rear left tyre parts ways with his Haas car. After he whacks the wall exiting turn 2, a red flag is thrown to neutralise the race and give the drivers 2 laps of racing at the end. Lap 57, the race restarts. Max Verstappen holds position on Lewis Hamilton. Carlos Sainz hits Fernando Alonso, spinning him. Pierre Gasly squeezes Alpine teammate Esteban Ocon as he rejoins the track, and both Alpines slam into the wall. Logan Sargent takes out Nick de Vries. Sergio Perez runs wide, and the race is red flagged as the FIA tries to figure out the finishing order. Lap 58, the FIA decide to restart the race in grid order from lap 56 minus the cars that had crashed out of the race to finish the race in formation behind the safety car. Carlos Sainz is handed a 5-second time penalty for causing the shunt with Fernando Alonso. And when all is said and done after almost 3 hours, Max Verstappen wins the Australian Grand Prix from Lewis Hamilton and Fernando Alonso. Sergio Perez gets fastest lap and driver of the day.
In 4th place was Lance Stroll. In 5th place was Sergio Perez. 6th place was Lando Norris. 7th place was Nico Hülkenberg in the Haas. 8th was Oscar Piastri from McLaren, getting his first points at his home Grand Prix. 9th place was Zhou Guanyu in the Alfa Romeo. And 10th was Yuki Tsunoda and AlphaTauri. And Carlos Sainz ended up finishing 12th in the Ferrari after his 5-second penalty. So, just want to ask you guys on your general thoughts on the race. For me, it was a really exciting race.
It was a great race.
It really was a great race.
It got the first 20 laps was great. Then it got a little bit procedural for a while there, especially because everyone was running on the same strategy, basically going long on the hard. So we didn't get anything for a good 20 to 30 laps there. But then, my God, did we get some action?
Chaos.
Yeah, after
Chaos
that,
at
to
the
make
end
up for it. So no, it was it had a bit of everything really.
Well, I think the only things I didn't like about this race, and I'm going to rule out, Max Verstappen, engaging star mode and the one thing that really annoyed me, and it's a constant with F1, and I really think they need to change the rule on it, is changing tyres under a red flag.
Yes.
Yeah, I hate that.
Parc fermé conditions under red flags.
Has to be. It's so frustrating. Like that ruined George Russell's race at the time. Obviously, I mean, he had mechanical issues later on, but he pitted under the yellow of the safety car. They flag it a red. Bang! He lost all the advantage he went for and just dropped from 1st to 7th, and everyone else gets the same.
Same with Carlos Sainz. He went from, because he was right behind Hamilton and Russell, and then he dropped all the way down to 11th.
Yeah.
There are a few drivers that got screwed by that red flag.
Yeah, that's not right. It should be parc fermé.
Yep.
Yeah, you can't touch your car.
The next thing... Oh, look, some of the drivers were complaining about the red flag towards the end, but for everyone that complained about it, and I'll get to someone that I want to have a bit of a rant about a bit later, but for everyone that complained about there being a red flag, just remember back to how much people complained about the end of Abu Dhabi 2021.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This, red flagging the race, counteracts that.
Yep.
What I'd like to see them do is, rather than do a formation grid after a red flag, is I'd like to see them do a rolling start. Behind the safety car for a lap, it peels in at the end of the lap, and it's a rolling start.
Yep.
I think and turn DRS straight on, straight away.
You reckon rather than start from the grid?
Yeah, no. I'd prefer the rolling start.
Okay.
That way it's not stop, start, stop, start. It's, they can warm up their tyres and we're straight back into it. We don't have to sacrifice another lap. Like, have one lap of them go around after they're in green flag conditions, turn the DRS back on.
Yep. I think DRS should be available at all times. I don't think there should ever be a time DRS isn't available, in my opinion.
I think on the first lap after a restart, particularly with the how it is at the moment, the formation grid, if you key on DRS, you can run into some issues.
I mean, maybe not from the exact start, as in, usually the straight will have it there, not then, but at least the next sector that has it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a really good race, and there was plenty of drama. And I mean, this morning we watched WrestleMania, and that had drama. So today it's just felt like it's been exciting drama all day.
I've been looking after my 2-year-old, so I've had drama.
Oh, exciting drama.
Not sure if it's been exciting, but definitely drama.
I've got some key drivers. My first key driver was Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, he had a really good weekend.
He had a really good race, despite the fact that he's admitted he's still not connected with this car.
Yeah, there's still work to do, but good performance with where they are at the moment.
Yeah,
you can't complain. He can't complain on that half. So yeah, he'd be pretty happy with the weekend, I think.
Yeah. My next driver was Fernando Alonso.
Yeah,
he drove a really great race.
He was lucky that they didn't revert that grid order too.
Yeah.
Because there was a chance they were going to go out there on the order that they came into the pit lane, and he was way down the order.
I was really hoping they did do that, to be honest. I was really hoping, get to me, they gave me more exciting than... I don't know, I kind of don't...
But then Carlos Sainz would have been up there despite causing the accident.
Yeah, but he would have then got a penalty.
But the thing is, and I've got to say this, when it comes to the Sainz-Alonso accident, I don't think it was entirely Sainz's fault, because if you watch the footage, he's in there. He can't turn the steering wheel much more to the right because that's a sharp corner. And it's not exactly an overtaking spot, but it's designed as a bottleneck at the start of the race. You've got Pierre Gasly on your left, and then you've got Fernando Alonso in front of you on your left as well. So it was almost a case of where does he go?
Well, the same thing earlier in the race with Stroll and Leclerc. They just said, he had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And it's similar to a point.
Well, and it is, because they call it a lap 1 incident, and that was coming off a restart, so technically you could call that a lap 1 incident as well. But
yeah.
Obviously the FIA felt like they had to rule that differently.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
I can understand why he got the penalty. I can understand that.
We sort of said it. We're like, I think he might be in trouble for that.
Yeah.
And he was.
Yeah. The next key driver was actually Carlos Sainz. I think up until that moment, he was driving the wheels off that car. Yeah, he was doing some outlandish shit when it came to overtakes. As was my next driver, Sergio Perez, who got driver of the day.
Yeah. 20th to 5th. What a storming drive.
And I mean, he was doing overtakes in places where I think I said it more than once. I'm like, he's game doing it there.
Yeah, he did. He had a few.
I think it was
on the inside of turn 9.
Yeah,
that's ballsy.
Yeah,
he did it multiple times. Special shout out though to Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri.
Well, they were my next two drivers, Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. Yeah. They outdrove the car.
They did. The McLaren was... I don't know. I think the McLaren actually showed it. Maybe it's not as bad as we think. Because we're 2 races in. We haven't had the potential to see it.
Yeah.
I mean, Bahrain, we had, double DNF?
Yeah.
And then Jeddah, they hit the wing, and then they both had wing damage, and we didn't get to see them... this is the first race we've got to see them with no dramas and no bullshit, just going. And 6th and 8th is a very good result.
Where do you think they would have finished up, though, had the Alpine boys still been? Were they behind both of them?
They were
Yeah.
behind Pierre Gasly.
Look, if you
I
leave,
think Ocon was around there too.
look,
So I think Piastri might have been 10th maybe.
I think if you leave Russell, Leclerc, and Sainz in the top 10, then Norris, I think, finishes, say, 9th,
Yep.
and Piastri gets 10th or 11th.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit of luck, but I think
They were
there
up
is.
and around
Yeah.
fighting for a point.
Yeah.
They can't take that away, definitely. I was real disappointed in Albon because he drove the wheels off that Williams. He had that car just... I was sitting here thinking, my God, this guy's going to push for... You know, with some luck, this guy's going to push for a podium this race. He was that far on it, in my opinion. So for him to have a... I think he just... I don't know, the brakes... He either outbraked himself or... Not sure what his issue
'Cause
was. He sort of went off on his own
Because
accord.
the turn before, he had an issue, and then the back end stepped out on him on this corner. So I think he might have put a wheel on the grass the previous corner.
Right.
It was a bit dirty, and it's just...
Just, yeah. flicked
I mean,
itself
he made an absolute fucking mess of it, though.
Yeah, he certainly
Yeah,
did. I
it
mean,
was,
that was a first red flag. I think.
It was a big shunt.
Yeah.
And I mean, I understand them red flagging the race, though, because there was gravel everywhere.
Yeah, and they've got to rebuild the barriers.
Yeah.
What you got to remember, a lot of the time it's not just the stuff on the track. It's they've got a duty to have the barriers at a working condition. And sometimes you've got to bring
the
stuff on
FIA
track.
actually said it was so we could clear the gravel off the track because there was just gravel everywhere.
Yeah, right. Yep.
The barrier was actually intact.
Oh, okay, I
Yeah.
thought I heard them say they just had to fix the
No,
barrier.
no,
Right.
that was Ted Kravitz's
Yeah, no,
speculation.
it was the gravel. The barrier was fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
righto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, I mean, they're both scenarios in which you have to do that.
Yeah.
You know, you got to fix it up.
And my final driver was Nico Hulkenberg in the Haas. I think he drove really well.
Yeah, drove
He
it
had a
home
good
safely.
weekend.
He was very under the radar. He was very
He's
under the
drove
I
radar.
don't know.
well
Like
this year.
he was as high as third in qualifying at one stage.
Yeah.
Like that Haas had something this weekend.
Yeah.
You know.
At one point, it looked like the Haas was going faster than the Ferrari, like in qualifying trim.
Yeah.
And because I was at work watching qualifying on my phone while I was working, and even I was just like, the Haas is beating the Ferrari. What? How can this be?
Oh, don't worry. At one point, Albon was beating just about everyone
Yeah.
in qualifying. I was going, what's going on here?
Albon was so unlucky, man. He was like top 6 when he crashed.
Yeah, he was 6. when
I reckon
crashed.
I reckon he's touched the grass or something in that sweeper and just
Yeah.
sent it into the
I think
wall.
if there's one guy who should be disappointed, though, it's Logan Sargent, because this was his chance to step up.
I've said it before. He's
Yeah.
not going to. He's a rookie in a team at the bottom with not a great car. I mean, Albon is the pure driver. Like, if you look at the lower tier teams, Albon is the one driver at the moment putting his hand up
Yeah.
to say, I deserve a higher seat, because he is out driving the shit out of that car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To have it where he had it today, and we've seen multiple performances like this from Albon where he's collected points for Williams when we shouldn't have any chance. Or today I think he would, especially with all the chaos, if he had stayed clear of there, honestly he could be up.
And he took
fourth,
out.
Who
Who did he hit? Did he hit? I think he hit Lance Stroll
he did
on that restart. He just plowed on the back of him.
Sergeant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Logan Sargent just took Lance Stroll out
Uh,
on the restart.
No,
No,
it
it
was-
was De Vries. It was De Vries.
Yeah,
I
it was
think.
De Vries. He plowed into.
Oh, was it De Vries he hit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Stroll, I think Stroll just went off himself.
Yeah, Stroll went off himself.
I think
on the
Stroll went
restart.
off at the same corner.
Yeah.
Like Stroll went off
Everyone
first and then
everyone went off at that.
it was just
corner.
chaos
It
the end of
was-
that race.
It's crazy, but yeah, no, Sargent didn't do anything as I.
Nick De
pretty much
Vries too.
expect.
He's another guy that I expect more from.
Yeah,
I mean, I know he's in the same boat as Logan Sargent, but I mean, Nick De Vries is more experienced than Logan Sargent.
I think that car is a boat.
Yeah, it
I mean,
is.
the
I
AlphaTauri
think-
is trash,
Yeah.
but
I think it's worse than the Williams. the
I
AlphaTauri.
think Nick De Vries is sitting there going, I should have signed with Williams.
I don't
If
know
Will
if, that was his-
if
yeah.
Williams threw him a contract, he should have signed there, because at least he'd have something marginally okay. I mean, you've got a team that's got the same power unit and a lot of the same parts as the Red Bull, and the Red Bull's off to the races,
Yeah.
and this thing's still in the float.
yeah.
Oh, it's
attached to the
it's
back
a
of the
shit
car.
box. And
Yeah.
you know what? I'm going to give Yuki Tsunoda some credit. Every race, he's been up and around that 10th spot, despite how shit that car is.
But he's fighting for his survival.
And he's doing it so far. I mean, I thought De Vries would be a lot closer to him, and if honest, he's outdriven him quite convincingly so far. You could say the same with Albon and Sargent. Albon's obviously outdriving Sargent quite comfortably. De Vries, though, I see him. You got to give these guys time. Obviously, De Vries has got just a crap car, but I still think we'll see a performance in him to show it's the guy we think he is. Where Sargent has had 2 opportunities. I think last week he had an opportunity. I think I went on about it where I feel he should have got the overtake on Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg having laxing tyres and him having the pace at the time, and just couldn't make the move. And then ate his tyres up and just kept dropping down. So, yeah, he's yet to put in any performance to give me any inkling of like, oh, this kid's got something. He's honestly just there because he's American. That's the honest truth, in my opinion.
And the driver who was the biggest disappointment, and it's not Charles Leclerc.
Well, it wasn't actually his fault. He got tapped by Stroll.
It's not him. It was Pierre Gasly, because he managed to take himself and his teammate out.
Yeah.
That's clumsy.
After being like 5th
Yeah.
all day, 4th
Yeah.
and 5th all day,
Yeah,
he comes
and-
back onto the track, doesn't even check his mirrors, and then not only does he take him and another car out,
He
the
took
other
his
car is his
teammate.
fucking teammate.
Yeah.
Oh man, he's
And the thing was, we knew this was going to happen at some point.
I thought it'd be Ocon, though. Be
Yeah.
the one to do it, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah, that's
he had the
absolute-
Pierre
absolute-
Gasly had a great day until that last restart.
Yeah.
Imagine the meeting room after that.
Yeah, it's a bit frosty in there.
You reckon the friendships is still repaired, or you reckon it's going backwards already?
I think it's gone the way of the Titanic. So I was going to have a bit of a rant.
Let's hear it. I'm here for it.
Something I wasn't terribly happy about. So there was someone spotted in the paddock today.
Not Kylie Minogue, is it?
No, she
was there.
I know.
She was there. She was there. No, Michael Massey was spotted in the paddock. And apparently FIA race director Niels Wittich is having problems with the race director role.
He's not cutting the mustard.
And so there's talk that Michael Massey might be coming back.
Right.
Well, a certain Sky Sports commentator named Ted Kravitz went on a bit of a tirade. Clearly, he has not let go of Abu Dhabi 2021.
Gosh.
And he was making a few references to the fact that maybe no one wants Michael Massey back, particularly Mercedes. I don't mind commentators having a little bit of bias, you know. And I mean, it's Sky Sports, so I totally understand they've got bias towards the British drivers. I get that. But, and they try to make out, it was human error that caused Abu Dhabi 2021. I don't know how to tell you this, Ted Kravitz, but the rest of the world has moved on from Abu Dhabi 2021.
Yeah, we've actually had a championship since then.
Yeah, that's right.
And we're
Which
actually
Max
on to
Verstappen
another.
dominated, and
Yeah.
now he's dominating this one.
Yeah.
So you can cry yourself to sleep again, Ted Kravitz.
But the most annoying thing is he keeps making a reference to it, and then he made a reference to it on the final red flag. And poor old Crofty had to sit there and actually cover for him and say, look, you know, it was human error. These things happen, but, you know...
Michael Massey is human. Maybe you should drop it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Lewis Hamilton's not getting that championship, ever.
Yeah, he's not getting it back.
He will never be
It's done and
2021
dusted.
world champion,
It's
ever.
done and dusted. And if the FIA is considering having him back, that just tells you, on the law of averages, that he might just be all right.
I
Do you know what I
don't-
mean? Compared to everything else, because if we had such a better option, we wouldn't even be talking about him ever again.
Well, that's right. I don't think Michael Massey's going to come back. I think he's quite happy with his role at Australian Supercars.
Imagine the criticism
think
he'd
that-
cop from guys like Ted Kravitz. You know?
And the thing is, that's why he's at Melbourne Park, because Albert Park, because the V8 Supercars were there.
Yeah.
You know, so I think Ted Kravitz just needs to let go of 2021, go take a a chill pill. Go have a Coke and a smile. Get your notebook and just concentrate on what you do.
Exactly.
Because that just absolutely aggravated me. You know? Apparently the Network 10 coverage was a bit crap.
All right.
They had a different commentary team.
Yeah, they had the F1 pit lane commentary team, which I think is Will Buxton and
Damon Hill.
Oh, God.
Damon Hill. And people are online roasting it.
I think it's not Will Buxton, it's Alex Jakes. And yeah, the other guy, I can't remember his name.
And Damon Hill.
And Damon Hill.
And they're just getting roasted online for how crap their commentary was.
I couldn't imagine listening to that
Yeah.
the whole time.
The other thing that annoyed me was post-race they had David Coulthard doing the interviews. Am I the only person who thought it should have been Mark Webber?
Yeah, 100%.
Like, if it's...
Someone Australian
Yeah.
related to
I mean,
Formula
Christ,
1.
I wouldn't have cared if it was Kylie Minogue.
Yeah, 100%.
You know? Or Hugh Jackman. Chris
Yeah.
Hemsworth. I mean, Chris Hemsworth qualified to talk about F1. He was in a movie about F1.
Get Daniel Ricciardo.
Yeah.
They love him to be the poster boy of everything.
Drive to Survive
Yeah,
and everything.
and is obviously Australian. Like,
Yeah, there's no...
get
And I
him
mean,
involved.
I'm sure if you said to him, look, just call it down the middle, mate, he would.
Yeah, 100%.
You know?
100%.
But instead we had David Coulthard.
Uh,
You know? So, yeah. But that's my rant. I just wasn't happy about Ted Kravitz's little...
They do need to let it die. It's done and dusted.
Yeah.
We're beyond it. And it's way more complicated than human error. That's the thing that annoys me the most, that they fail to sort of mention. They like to sit there and say it's all Massey's fault, but there's so many... I mean, we did a giant episode on it, essentially, where we talked about all the variables that led to it.
We read the FIA report and
Yeah.
we pointed, the facts out that there were things that, he was just trying to finish the championship under green flag conditions.
Which had all been agreed to by all
And he did.
the principals. So, and that's right. So at the end of the day, he was doomed if he didn't, doomed if he did, in a sense. Like,
And it's the best championship in years.
Here's my...
You wouldn't. Like, fuck, it was the best championship in years,
Well,
decades.
that's right. Well, I mean, what is...
And imagine that finishing under safety car.
What is Ted Kravitz complaining about? Oh, because
Why is
Lewis
he gonna-
Hamilton didn't win. But I mean, his ratings for Sky Sports F1 coverage the next year would have gone through the roof because of the controversy of that.
let's put it this way as well. Do you think they'd have the same feelings about it if it was the other way around? Do you think years on they'd be going...
No.
They'd be saying...
Ted
"Oh,
Kravitz
Massey
wouldn't be
had-"
saying a fucking word
No,
about it.
they would be fine with it. In fact, they'd be like, oh, Massey should stay. Massey's been great in the
And you
role."
know what else? And this is the shit that grinded me the last race. We had to put up with Lewis Hamilton dominating for 6 years. Well, Mercedes was 8 years. Lewis was like 7, six.
No, 7.
Nico was 2. Nico was 1.
Yeah, Nico was 1.
And all of a sudden, after all this Lewis Hamilton dominance and about Sky Sports dancing around that Lewis Hamilton's the greatest driver of all time, Max Verstappen's won 2 championships in a row, on track, off to a good start to win a third. And all of a sudden, is Max Verstappen's dominance bad for Formula 1?
Yeah, because it's not Mercedes or British driver.
Yeah.
Red Bull's dominance is bad for Formula 1 after we had to put up with Mercedes doing it for 8 fucking years.
Yeah.
But because it's all like, Lewis Hamilton's the greatest driver ever. Now it's the car. Red Bull's made a car that's too fast. Max Verstappen's rah this. But every championship that Lewis Hamilton won was like, Lewis Hamilton's such a great driver.
Yeah.
Look how he can get everything out of this car that he needs to.
That minute up the road is
Max
because of
Verstappen
him.
does it. It's just like, Red Bull's too fast. This is bad for the sport. I don't like dominance. Dominance is a bad look for the sport.
And they're not even as far up the road as the Mercedes was.
I don't think
in its
they
time.
are.
They're not. Alonso come out and said that. He's like, I finished 20 seconds behind Perez. And, I don't feel it's as dominant as the car Hamilton got. Like, I think he said he's got a short memory. I remember being minutes behind them in their time.
How about this for a question? We'll shift it away from Lewis Hamilton. We'll replace Lewis Hamilton with someone else. If Fernando Alonso was winning the championship as easily as Max Verstappen is right now,
No one would care.
Do you think Sky Sports would jump up and down, oh, it's
Nope.
ruining the sport, blah, blah, blah? No.
Nope.
Because
They would
they'd be
be
like,
excited
oh,
as ever.
Aston Martin's doing really well, and Fernando Alonso because he's our mate and he does fantastic, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That would be
Fernando
sick.
does deserve it, though. I'll be honest, I'm sort of on the Fernando train this year a bit.
Yeah.
Like, I know they jump on his dick and he's the second coming of Christ, but
He's
he's
driving.
driving really well.
He is, yeah.
He's driving really well. And props to Lance Stroll. We didn't talk about him. He finished 4th. He flew under the radar all day, and he finished 4th. He brought the Aston home behind his teammate.
Yeah, but he didn't exactly set the world on fire.
He didn't have to.
He still has a
He
strong
did his
day,
job.
You know, he still took out.
He did his
Leclerc.
job. He got points and was tail gunning for fucking.
Yeah, I don't
He did
think
take out.
he
He did
did
take
take out
out
Leclerc.
Yeah.
Like,
And he got
still
no
had a
penalty for
Stroll
it.
day. Yeah, I know. Like, he still
He's
does Stroll things. He's
he's
involved in the Stroll way, and it's like he's
he's-
just got a quicker car now to
he's
get better
just-
points.
he's
Like,
just strolling his way through it.
pretty much. That's
Nah, he's-
exactly what it is.
We JB and I did have a good couple of minutes there because they had a shot of our favourite technical director guy, Mike Crack.
Yeah.
So we had some fun at Mike Crack's expense. I think someone
As
in
we always
commentary
do.
said Mike Crack is smiling.
My
JB's
crack is
like,
smiling, and I'm like, yeah, my crack is sweaty.
Gift that keeps on giving, isn't it?
it's very much like chlamydia. It's just the gift that keeps on giving.
Jesus.
Right. So the next, I've only got one news item. Oddly enough.
Yeah, well.
So Porsche has decided to pull the plug on their F1,
Yeah, it's officially done, which is
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah, it's
And
very
if-
sad.
but the only caveat is if any team becomes a customer team for Audi power units, they're going to be rebadged as Porsche.
Yeah, right.
So
Because Porsche's thing, they wanted to have a controlling stake in the team that they owned. They wanted to buy out an existing team and control that team without just be... Why can't they just start their own works deal?
well,
It was too expensive to become a works team just off the bat, apparently.
no,
they had to do it. That's
the-
why they approached McLaren, and McLaren didn't want to.
Well, the race actually broke down what was Porsche's terms, and their terms were, we're not going to give you a lot of money, but we want 50% control of your team. We'll give you these power units that are completely untested, and we're a brand new engine supplier, because you won't be getting the Audi power unit. You'll be getting something we're building
Yeah.
from scratch. We're not giving you any technical personnel
Yeah.
because we don't know anything, so we can't help you. But we want to have a say in how you run your team.
Yeah.
You can sort of see how that was a bit of a hard sell.
Yeah, bit of a
Yeah.
Yeah.
hard
But-
pass, that one.
But if there was any team on the grid that could have looked at that deal and gone, you know what, it's something, it's fucking Williams.
Yeah, they could have still benefited.
But at least Williams has come out and said, 2026, we might not be running Mercedes power units.
Thank God, I hope so. But the only thing that confuses me is when they also come out and say they weren't interested in Honda. It was like, well, if you want to jump away from Mercedes, who are you interested in?
Yeah.
I don't see you getting Red Bull's not going to start selling.
No.
You can't get on Ferrari.
Because
Too many.
Christian Horner had lunch with Zach Brown from McLaren, and apparently Zach Brown was there to try and talk to Christian about Red Bull supplying power units, like Red Bull Ford supplying power units to McLaren in 2026. And Christian said, if we supply power units to other teams, we're immediately running it at a loss. We're not making any money out of supplying power units to other teams. So that was sort of dead in the water. I think the only route really for McLaren is to get back together with Honda. I think Honda's got the right idea now. They just got to try and make it work. Because Honda is coming back in 2026. They just haven't got a team yet. But for Williams to immediately shut it down and go, oh, we're not going with Honda.
But
Like
then say
that's-
they're interested in moving on from Mercedes potentially. It's like, well, where else are you going to go? Like Renault? Okay, I'd rather you take that shot than Mercedes, but isn't Honda a better option?
You know,
If they've got no one?
Porsche would be a better option.
Yeah.
You know.
Anyone than
Yeah.
current
Yeah,
other team
yeah.
on the grid, in a sense, so I don't know.
I mean,
We'll see what
Christ,
happens.
if they buy the Mechachrome engines that are used in F2,
Yeah, 100%.
you know, anything would be better. It's just, Williams are just dribbling shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just can't make up their mind. They couldn't find their ass with 2 hands and a compass.
Pretty much.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah,
truth.
it's true.
It is, it's true.
You know,
Well, hopefully, new boss, James Vowles, can,
convince Dorilton Capital to stop making stupid comments. Yeah, it can work.
That.
Why don't they hire Ted Kravitz to be their technical director? Jesus. But that's the only real news story from this week, was that. And the other news item is that the FIA has banned teams from being on the pit wall at the end of a race.
That's odd. It's been happening for
Since the dawn of time.
since the dawn of Formula One.
Yeah.
Now it's illegal. Like now,
Yeah, why is it illegal?
not even the start of the year. It's like 2 races in.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've banned that.
What did Red Bull do in Jeddah that was like so illegal?
I don't know. I
Nothing.
don't know.
They just don't like seeing Red Bull out on the...
And
It was fine for
It was-
Mercedes.
Yeah.
yeah, it was okay for Mercedes.
Everything was fine when it was Mercedes because Lewis is the greatest driver ever.
Yeah.
But now that Max Verstappen's clearly got an advantage because of this car, you can't climb the pit wall. Stop celebrating
It's
your
unfair. There
stop
must be
celebrating
something
your-
wrong with the car. They must
stop
be cheating.
celebrating your superiority.
You know what I mean? Like a few years ago,
Tisk.
a few years ago, they got rid of the grid girls. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Come
Boo.
on.
They're still in MotoGP though, which is nice.
Instead, they were putting grid kids on the grid. It's like, Jesus, just give us the girls in the bikinis. I mean, we're not asking for much.
Yeah. There's
You
nothing wrong
know,
with it.
it's this whole, it's sexism. All right, okay, you want diversity? Put some trans people on the grid then. Grid trans people. Grid guys, grid trans.
Apparently there were some in the paddock.
Yeah.
There was like a
Drag queen?
drag queen.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And there's a
Yeah.
lot of people that are not happy with
I wouldn't
that.
be happy about it either. You're telling me we can't have grid girls, but we can have that.
Grid trans.
Well,
Yeah.
Keep that shit away from kids. What a kid. I mean, let's not get too political, but there's nothing wrong with grid girls. They're getting paid to do it. They enjoy doing it. It's their choice. Like,
Mm.
I don't understand why
What?
it's become an issue. But then we're going to put drag queens on there. Like, I got no issue with drag queens, but they don't belong in Formula One, any kids events.
Well, how
know what I
about, this then? Okay, if we ever get to having women driving Formula One again, right? Have grid girls for the guy drivers, and grid guys or whatever for the women, or leave it up to the driver. If the driver, say Lewis Hamilton wants a black man as his grid girl, so be it. There we go.
At the end of the day, we've got to stop bending over to the minority in favour of the majority.
We have bent over to the minority.
Sport
And
is
it's just-
male-dominated
it's-
for a reason. It's
Oh,
what they're
man.
interested in. It's what we are interested
We
in.
are there for the cars. We aren't there for the politics. Like,
Yeah.
just-
That's right. That's right.
But Formula One like making it about politics sometimes.
Every major organisation does. It's very frustrating.
It is.
Because you're
extremely.
pandering to a minority that shouldn't matter. We need to come to some kind
Or-
of consensus.
or
like
pandering to minorities that are irrelevant to the sport that we're in.
Exactly right. Exactly that. And at the end of the day, you never win because there's always something.
You
always
always
something.
upset someone.
That's it. You'll
if
never
it's,
end.
Even if it's 3 guys in the...
And the people that get upset are the fucking casuals that watch 3 races a fucking year. The casuals, the people that are upset are probably the ones that just watch the Australian Grand Prix and now they have an opinion.
Yeah, they watch Drive to Survive and then watch the Australian GP and
Yeah,
go,
it's like, I love Formula One. I'm offended. I think they should change this. And then there's us that have been watching Formula One since I was 8 years old. You know, religiously since 2010, but Formula One since I was 8. You know, and all these minorities are like trying to change everything. You know, everyone's all these. You know,
It's like it with every sport. At the
Yeah,
moment. It's just ridiculous.
It's really bad lately.
Yeah.
I don't like their direction. But anyway, let's move on.
Not that we hate trans people or anything
I'm
like
not
that.
sexist or anything. It's just
Yeah.
Keep it out of the sport. Sport's sport.
Sorry, I'm just
let it
Ted
be sport.
Kravitzing this. I'm just croftying this.
We didn't have any more news items, so we had to get political to get the conversation going.
Yeah, we're content creators. We got to do something.
The content creates itself here. At the
we can't go into a suicide forest in Japan and become famous like Logan Paul, so we have to just do it this way.
He wrestled today too.
Yeah, he did he? Yeah. So did KSI, I see.
Yeah, KSI was in a prime bottle.
Yeah. And then got put through a table. It was
how
beautiful.
ridiculous is exactly what you said. That's his career. He went to a suicide forest
and just blew
filmed
up.
it and just blew up, and now he just creates a drink that probably tastes like shit.
It does, apparently.
Everyone froths over and has to buy it, and you're just like, what is wrong with people? Does no one have any individuality left?
Hey, let's not start about how the Kardashians got famous.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because having a fat ass makes you popular.
They are the most
great.
awful people on the planet, and yet they're
revered.
They get praised. They are disgusting.
They are fucking disgusting.
She made a sex tape with her mum as the manager. It was her mum's idea.
And then,
it's gross.
Or one of the biggest songs in 2021 was Cardi B and WAP.
Yeah. This is the world we live in. This is why we have drag queens instead of grid girls. Have none.
A couple of weeks ago, Carol and I watched it was a nearly 1 hour long video. It was about every hit song of every month from 1980 to December 2022. And almost every song from 2000 onwards is someone featuring someone, right? So a rapper who can't sing with some blonde bimbo who is auto-tuned to fuck. Or, I think it was June 2022 was Running Up the Hill by Kate Bush, which is a song that's 30 years old.
Yeah, but that was because of Stranger Things.
Because of Stranger Things, because of a TV show.
Yeah, bringing something back.
You know, and yet one of the biggest songs in 2021 was WAP, and they couldn't even play the clip of the song.
Yeah,
I mean, I played gigs out at Eton, and as soon as we'd finished playing, the hillbillies out there would insist on putting the jukebox on. And the first song every time at full fucking blast was WAP by Cardi B. And you're just sitting there going, how can people like this song? Like, this is offensive. I was offended by this song, and I sit here and say outlandish shit.
Yeah, why should it be played out to the masses, a.k.a. children?
We're revering the wrong... We're
revering
idiots. We're revering idiots.
And you got kids sitting there going, I love that song, and they don't even know what it is because they haven't hit puberty and don't understand what this shit's all about.
Welcome to the F1 chat where you're revering three idiots right now. Thank you to our 6 loyal subscribers. We love you.
I could say that because I'm not a musical genius. I'm just a musician, so what would I know?
All right. Anyway, the world sucks and we're old and we hate it. Turn your music down. And pull your pants up.
Pull up your pants.
Get off my lawn.
Right, now we've let our political and
now
ideological...
that we've shown that we're old degenerates.
I got 2 words for you. Suck it. I have to say this, and I'll come back to this in a few minutes, but I wore this very shirt, which is a NWO Wolfpack shirt to Soundwave.
Knotfest.
That's the one. I keep calling it Soundwave because I'm so used to it.
It was
the
same
festival from the last weekend that had 90,000 people on it.
Yeah.
It was the same place as Soundwave.
So to Knotfest, I had 2 guys in the queue walk up to me and throw the 2 sweet at me.
It's good to see cultures,
which was cool. And then another 4 guys inside, like when we finally got in after 2 hours, again, throw the 2 sweet at me. And it was just like, this is mind-blowing. And then I come back home and people are like, oh, what does that mean?
Metal concerts like Knotfest give me a little bit of hope left in society because you get 90,000 people that are just there to have a good time. Everyone's there to help
Metal
each other.
people are the most peaceful,
just
loving people.
acceptable people on the planet.
Unless
I watch dudes get knocked down in the pit and then everyone stop.
Get them up.
Go.
Help everyone.
That's the law. It's the unwritten rule.
There's never any violent
all you had was some idiot run into Parkway Drive's stage mere seconds before the pyro get off, and then Winston got on there and say, this dickhead nearly got his head blown off.
And
Or
the dude climbed the pole
climbed the tower.
during Slipknot.
And then when he comes down, Corey Taylor walks out and goes, I can't take you motherfuckers anywhere, can I? Yeah, we all chuckled about it. The only thing about Knotfest was you'd be walking along with food, and it was always some idiot with a North Lane shirt that would just stand there and stare at you, like, are you going to get out of the way? Like, I've got food, I'm going that way, and you're staring blankly at me like you've done about 1,000 cones. Get the fuck out of the way.
They have.
Yeah.
And they're hungry.
And it was some idiot.
Now I'm hungry, and now you're walking past me.
He's
with
probably
loaded
looking
fruit.
at
anxiety.
probably looking at my head thinking that's a burger. You know? And it was always some idiot with a North Lane shirt. Yeah.
Damn North Lane fans. How you doing, Matty?
Oh, God. And their backing tracks. God, that was all. Anyway, this is F1.
We really diverted. Sorry, there was no news, so we have to fill you
You're
in
going to
on,
have to listen to us
on our
dribble a bit.
personal lives.
Right. So, moving on, we're going to the drivers' standings. So, leading the championship is Max Verstappen on 69 points.
Nice.
Sergio Perez is still second with 54 points. Fernando Alonso is third with 45 points. Lewis Hamilton is fourth with 38 points. Carlos Sainz and Lance Stroll are both tied for fifth on 20 points. Seventh is George Russell on 18 points. Eighth is Lando Norris with 8 points.
My boy.
Ninth and tied for ninth is Charles Leclerc and Nico Hulkenberg with 6 points. In 11th is Valtteri Bottas on 4. He's tied with Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly. Oscar Piastri.
Yes, Oscar.
So then I've got to figure out the math. 15th is Zhou Guan Yu with 2 points. No, he's 14th, sorry. 14th. 15th is Kevin Magnussen, Alex Albon, Yuki Tsunoda, all tied with 1 point. And then tied for dead last is Logan Sargent and Nick de Vries with no points.
Who gets a point first out of them two, you reckon?
I think Nick de
I
Vries.
think Nick de Vries will, to be honest.
Yeah.
But now that we've picked him, you know what's going to happen?
Logan
Sargent will get the point.
Yeah,
We'll jinx it. The Constructors, Red Bull Racing is leading the championship with 123 points, which is nearly double the second team, which is Aston Martin Mercedes with 65 points. Mercedes AMG is third with 56 points. Scuderia Ferrari is on 26 points in fourth. McLaren Mercedes has jumped up to fifth with 12 points.
We're on.
We're on
Finally.
Alpine is in sixth. Alpine is sixth with 8 points. Haas is seventh with 7 points. Alfa Romeo is eighth with 6 points. Now, the FIA has it listed as AlphaTauri in ninth with 1 point, and Williams Mercedes is dead last with 1 point. I was a little bit more favourable and put Mercedes in first before AlphaTauri because
Williams. Williams Mercedes.
Williams, because I didn't want to upset Longhorn.
What have they based that off? Just the other
Finishing position in this race.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
damn it.
one-
Come on, Sergeant.
That's why McLaren will last for like 3 races, because we were just out the back.
And because he kept crashing out.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
And you
Times are changing.
Yeah.
For now.
Right. So then we got the social medias. So you can see us on 2 channels until the end of this year, and then the videos for the F1 chat are not going up on mine after the end of this year. So we're going to keep it on the 2 channels. But you can see us on the Vindicator 18 channel and on the F1 Chat 1
That's it.
YouTube channel. You can interact with us on Facebook, on the F1 Chat, on the Twitter with the F1 Chat 1.
Don't forget the one.
Correct. I point at them now to make them say it. It's like, do the thing. Say the line.
Say the line.
I will admit I've been pretty lax on Twitter lately, although if you were on there today, I did put up live race updates.
That's okay. I'm going to use my own personal Twitter to send a message to Ted Kravitz.
I'll just use the F1 chat one. Let's get some
Yeah, that's
notoriety
even
going.
better.
Get us out.
I'll leave that one to you.
We're
Start from-
revering. If the world wants to revere idiots, let me begin.
Hands rubbing together. Start from some darts out there.
Get in there, Lewis.
Dearest Tedward Kravitz.
Knock it off.
You are a beep.
Right, the next one is the Rumble.
Yep, F1
with
chat.
The F1 chat. And finally on the Spotify, the F1 chat.
That's us.
Now, before we get into the final part of the episode, I wanted to say something to you two boys. So last week, as we mentioned before, we went to knotfest. And my girlfriend and I got in the queue earlier than you guys, despite the fact you guys said you were getting there a lot earlier.
We did, and then the queue was 2 kilometres long.
Oh, my God. How long was it, eh?
The most walking I did all day was to the back of the queue line.
And you know what? That line also shows you how good metal people are, because everyone just kept
No
going
one
to
was
the back.
pushing it.
No one was like fucking
No
losing
one
their
pushed.
shit. They were just like, I'm going to keep going to the back.
No one pushed in until the line started moving. And then we pushed in.
By then, it was fair. Yeah.
Well, when you guys walked past me, I said to you guys, like, jump in, and you were both like, no, we're not cutting the queue.
Yeah, we're not being those guys.
Yeah.
Well, I had to leave the queue because my girlfriend was rather unwell. Don't want to sort of humiliate her or anything in that way, but I had to leave the queue because she was at the toilet, and at one point she was like, I'm going to have to go back to the hotel room.
Yeah.
To which I said, no, you're fucking not. You came here to see Corey Taylor. You will see fucking Corey Taylor. So I left the queue, grabbed her, and like she was already just wrecked. And we also had our friend Carla with us because she was looking after my girlfriend while I was in the queue. So props to Carla as well. And then I broke the queue to make sure she was okay. And we started walking back. And we ran into you guys. And you guys were like, get in here. Just jump on in. And that saved us probably a 30-minute additional wait to get in the damn place.
Yeah.
So Carol and I just wanted to say thank you to you boys for
good, man.
getting us to jump in. And
To be fair, like,
You'd already lined up, so.
we thought you were way up, but yeah, we were doing the honourable thing, and then the line started moving, and we decided to not do the honourable thing, and we just merged in with them. So the line was already moving.
Well, the confusing thing that happened is the line was straight for blocks and blocks and blocks, and then it snaked itself, and so we hit a point where we couldn't actually see the end, but we seen the snake, and people saying, "Yeah, this is the end of the line here." So we started lining up there, but then heaps of people kept going further, and then the line started moving adjacent to us, and we're thinking, well, hang on, how do we know when the we're expecting the line to snake back around? How would we know if the line's just, And then eventually, as it started moving, it sort of everyone just
merged in, man.
into one.
Yeah,
It was just the easiest thing to do.
And the thing was, as we were heading back towards the end of the queue, I actually ran into the guys who remembered me from where I was in the queue. And they said, "Oi, jump in here." And I was just like, no. I left the queue. Fair's fair. And then you boys were like, "Yeah, get in here." Like, my girlfriend wasn't looking well, and she was just like, "Can we, I've got to get in there."
Just get in.
Yeah.
Mind you, and then it starts raining, and I've been holding a pee for... since I got on the train, and then the train stopped, and then we walked from Fortitude Valley to the showgrounds. I've been holding the pee since then.
90 minute hold.
And yeah, I didn't pee until I got into Knotfest, and that was at least 90 minutes.
Something I didn't reveal until to my girlfriend until actually last night was that I had been bottling up gastro all day that day.
Something about Brisbane, man.
It's the food.
Water?
It had to be.
I got told it's the water.
Well,
Our hotel had a broken fridge, so we couldn't even keep anything cold.
Our B&B had a fucking bidet.
Yeah.
It's the greatest thing of my life.
Best thing ever.
But, yeah, no, you guys helped us out and let us jump in. And, like, the guys behind us, behind you guys, didn't crack up at all.
No,
They
metalheads.
probably saw my girlfriend and her makeup had already started running shit and just went, yeah, she's fucked up. She needs some help.
Yeah.
So, but
that's metalheads, dude. They don't really care.
Yeah.
No, that's right.
They might have said something, but the line was... And the closer we got, the line just started cracking on faster and faster. So by the time we were near the gates going over that bridge, like, we were at walking pace.
Yeah.
So it was fine, and a great day was had. And you're welcome for getting in the line, bud.
So, yeah, like Carol and I and Carla, we all wanted to say thank you to you guys, Jacko and the other Phil for saying jump on in and
no biggie, man.
And even to Phil, like the other Phil, like typically we haven't gotten along, don't know why, But he even turned around and said, "Do you guys want some water?" And he had a bottle of water with him. I said no, but I think Carol might have taken him up on it. So just wanted to say thank you to you boys. And
That's the spirit of metal, mate.
That's the spirit of metal,
That's
the
what it's
power of
about.
metal. Don't let
What a night
mainstream, don't let Hit FM tell you that we're Satanists.
It was. Yeah. Don't
Violent
let
Satanists.
WAP get you down.
Don't let Cardi B tell you that we're evil
Yeah.
when she's the one that is evil.
you know, as Corey,
Why does she have a
Taylor
pool in the house that's like a foot deep?
said-
Have you seen the film clip? They're like dancing in a pool, but the pool's like a foot deep. But big pool, like a huge pool, but it's this deep.
Yeah, but they're dancing in pools, and then you watch the Duality video where it's actually a Slipknot fan's house that they fucking
They're just
trashed.
trashing. Yeah.
And then Slipknot paid for all the maintenance repairs on the house.
Hell yeah.
It was
Don't
like
let them tell you.
$50,000 worth of repairs, and the fans were like, "Yeah, it's immortalized in a music video."
Yeah.
That's even their barbecue that gets thrown through the window at the start.
That's
You know,
That's awesome.
they were just like, "We're in a Slipknot music video.
Yeah,
This is
that's it.
unreal."
Yeah. We're not assholes.
And apparently, the band actually was playing in the house.
Yeah.
So
pretty
that
sick.
just kudos to Slipknot. Yeah,
Yeah.
you got Cardi B trying to get that fat ass of hers into a couple of millimeters of a pool.
Yeah.
You got Corey Taylor and co. just going, fuck the house up. Fuck it.
I love the Beavis and Butthead thing there. Of that video, they're like, we have an Olympic-sized swimming pool, but it's only a foot deep for some reason. This house comes with an Olympic-sized swimming pool. It's only 1 foot deep for some reason.
I think it was Uncle Fred.
Uncle Fred. All right. Good day was had
Right.
by all. I'm pooped.
Right, so the next episode is going to be in 4 weeks because the next race is in 4 weeks.
Big break, eh?
Yeah.
China's cancelled, so...
China got cancelled as
Early
well as
season, mid-season break.
as well as the race in China got cancelled. So the next race is Azerbaijan. It's going to be interesting because
The
it's-
floor update is coming!
and hopefully Ferrari will have an update that'll make their car.
Everybody targeted Azerbaijan as their first big update. McLaren's bringing the new floor, so... Please give us some performance advantage.
Oh, hang on, there was actually another news story.
Oh.
James Key got fired from McLaren
Yes, he did.
Yeah. I don't know why.
I can tell you.
because the car's a shitbox.
But I mean,
Well, apparently Williams is looking for a technical director.
No.
firing him now
No.
doesn't make... Oh, who cares? Like, the car's already made. Firing him now is not going to change anything.
Yeah, they're updating their
Yeah, they got someone from Ferrari.
Yeah, David Schultz.
David Schultz, yeah.
Yeah, he was the guy who designed the current car.
Yep. So,
And apparently the track director, Laurent Michels,
Yes,
the
from
guy,
Ferrari.
yeah,
Yep.
he's the guy who looks like Kirk Hammett.
Yes.
He might be leaving Ferrari.
Yes, I read that too.
So
Going to McLaren or just leaving in general?
he might be going to
the
McLaren.
rumour was McLaren, but we'll see.
He might go to Williams.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so
That's us.
That's us. Next race is in 4 weeks' time, and it's going to be interesting. Plenty of updates back in Europe, and
Hopefully a step forward for a few teams, we'll see.
yeah. Well, hopefully Ferrari can step up their game because they're having a shocker. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not 2020 shocking, but it's not far off.
Yeah.
You know, but it's nice to see McLaren bag some points today.
I hope this is the step that we can just start being consistently, not back where we were last year. I mean, back where we were last year, we were finishing 5th, 6th, or 7th, 8th, in the bottom half of the top 10. So I'd be happy just to be there consistently and try and build on that.
Yeah.
So hopefully the floor does the trick in Baku, and we will find out in a month's time.
And we will see you guys in a month's time. So on behalf of JB, Longhorn, and myself, it is goodbye.